The Heed the Call podcast canceled their final day of mandatory minicamp in favor of topless laser tag.
Nipples out. Hey, welcome. Heed the call. Heed in that call. On a Thursday, Dan Hanzus, Marc Sessler, Conor Orr, Justin Graver on the ones and twos. And yes, this is the final day of mandatory minicamps across the NFL. Effective today, the NFL goes dark until the last week or so of July, and hence the show going up a little bit later than usual because we want to capture every last crumb, Sessy, of news from camps before everybody disappears and drives away, potentially over 100 miles per hour. Teaser.
Well, okay. That is what we do. We are newsmen of various varieties, and we're completists. So, yeah, we waited a little bit longer to do the show the right way. One little note, I don't do topless laser tag unless Jason Zumwalt is involved.
Oh, he's in.
Okay, I'm just going to say, it's a package deal there.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Do you ever get
Connor?
into that situation where, whether it's laser tag or there's like a black light miniature golf place near my house, and what happens is if you're kind of like a slovenly person like me and you spill a lot of things all over your clothes, then you get into a black light situation and you look like a hotel bedspread, incidentally,
Right.
and then you kind of have to work your way backwards with in a really dicey situation. So
Do we have to use some of our Patreon revenue, Connor, to send you to charm school? Is this a minor request?
I took we had dining etiquette in 7th grade. It was a home ec class, and the reason I took it is because I had a crush on a girl, and this is how long ago this seems. So you got to power rank the girls that you wanted to take to the dinner at the end of the class. And then the teacher did sort of a mix and match based on like a point system. Where it's like, okay, Connor rated her number 1, her number 2, her number 3. And like the whole point was to be able to take this one girl to the dinner at the end. Because that was the final exam, was a dinner in 7th grade with a girl from your class. And I didn't get the person that I signed up for the class for.
That is very strange.
Isn't that wild?
Well, that sounds very East Coasty to me. Pockets of the East Coast.
And then the teacher sat there and watched you interact, and then watched how you ate your soup, because you had to go out to sea and back to me. That's how you eat soup, is you go out to sea and then back to me.
There was a horrible book that took New York City by storm if you were a mid-20-something male in the mid-aughts, called The Game. Written by Neil Strauss. And one of the and it was a book about teaching. I mean, it's amazing that this book existed, and all you would see was just guys on the subway reading it. Not me. I wasn't, but every other guy my age that's exactly like me was reading The Game, and it was like tips how to be more confident with women, how to be more successful, how to be in general the best version of yourself in terms of how you present in social settings. And this was a real book, and it was a bestseller, I'm telling you. And one of the tenets of the guy that he was a Rolling Stone writer, an accomplished author who got into this like pickup artist world. And one of his chief moves that he taught was when you're in a bar setting and you see a group of women or men, it could be either way, you do not go after the girl you're most attracted to. You pick the one that's the kind of your second choice. And then when the most attractive girl is naturally put off by that, she would then try to get your attention, and you blow her off. It makes her like you more. And then the girl, everyone's going for the one, and then you go for another, and you end up in a good place. Maybe in home ec, if you would have done the same thing, you would have had more success. Mark will send you his copy. He has the hardcover.
I did read it, and I thought that you did too. I thought we discussed that years ago. Me? It was, first of all, it's great research just to see, because this was like a flowering movement. Reprehensible by many standards, but it did take, I think, like male culture, parts of male culture in the country by storm. And Dan's right. Like, it's like you in a bar setting, you kind of blow up the hot chick by hanging out or making more conversation with like the least attractive woman. This is reprehensible. I'm just saying this was what the book was not pure or be the best version of yourself. It was trick women. In many cases, it was trick women in psychologically. Like with his little friend Mystery with the magic cap and
Mystery,
like the big,
that's it.
Right. I mean, it really like was a movement that has probably turned into like the incel movement, or there's some version of that comes out of that
metastasized, I think. Yeah, that was called peacocking. He would wear a big top hat and a stupid outfit, or not a stupid outfit to him, but something that would catch the attention and be conversation starters. All right, we're off.
They lived in West Hollywood. It was a disaster.
All right. So if we do here, I guess just to put a bow on it, Connor, if we ever get time machine technology and you end up back in that class, pick up a copy. It's like Buzz's Sports Almanac and Back to the Future too. Pick up a copy of the book and correct your mistakes.
Well, right. I don't want to come off like I'm complaining that it would have altered the trajectory of my life in any way, shape, or form. I'm happy.
It's a total
now.
Mr. Destiny scenario. Yes, Justin.
All of your Feminists of the Week covers have been revoked. I think you should use that time machine.
Here comes Mr. White Knight.
The teacher asked me to do it. It's not like that was how we did it.
Mark,
Justin,
reprehensible jump in by the producer there.
Well, no, I also think that, like Justin, if your method in society and life is to simply avoid anything that causes you concern, that's one way to go. I like to research, understand, know what I'm dealing with, know what's happening in our society, and make my own decisions. I don't want to just be tisk because I don't like sit in a church pew all day long. So there we go. Because I already can see the Reddit thread about this conversation.
Yeah. You know what, Justin, you should have to turn off your Titan's light behind you. That should be your punishment for this outburst, this takedown.
So much less nightclubby in here now. It's boring.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to get into the news that is out there for the training camps because, like we said, Ravens, Chiefs, Giants, Rams, and Seahawks all wrapped up there in minicamps, and we'll get the news. Before we hit that, this is something that we haven't done yet, and it's worth checking in on because during this quiet period, these 4 weeks or so, there are still, like, every team. Think about your team right now. Pause and reflect and think. Your team, what are some roster holes your team has? And unless you're like the Baltimore Ravens fan or whatever, or a couple other teams, you probably can think of one real quick. There's probably a player out on the open market right now, a veteran player that has not been picked up yet that would help your team. So without further ado, we put together a list here of it's the graybeards, essentially. Not all of them have graybeards, but the best remaining NFL free agents here. So we'll start at the wide receiver position. Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Gabe Davis, all available, okay? Defensive ends, you need somebody to go get a quarterback. Zadarius Smith is out there. How about Jadeveon Clowney? Mr. 1-year contracts till the end of days. Looking for another one right now. You need a little interior line help. How about Brandon Scherf? He's available at guard. How about a little help in the back end? Justin Simmons and Julian Blackmon, safeties available. Rasul Douglas, Mike Hilton available at cornerback, as is Asante Samuel and Stephon Gilmore. And don't forget that the Dolphins are still trying to shed Jalen Ramsey's salary in a trade. So, Connor, none of these guys, there's a reason why all these guys are available. Because there are flaws to their games, and many of those flaws are just the inexorable march of time and what it's done to their game. But value still, I think, in the right scenario for a bunch of these guys. Who do you really like on this list?
I mean, Jadeveon Clowney is always a good run defender, and it's really hard to find edge-setting edge players, right? A lot of our best edge players have kind of transformed into pure pass rushers because pure pass rushers get paid and they become kind of the hallmark of the defense and they get these big contracts. But with someone like Clowney, if you're just trying to kind of hone in and get stronger against, you're playing a division maybe against the Shanahan team, this is a good guy to have. So I don't know. I always think there's value in Clowney.
Man,
Mark?
I think you can just never have enough defensive back help. And I don't know if this is because these guys couldn't get multi-year deals back in, a couple months ago, or if it's age or there's health issues. But like Justin Simmons, Mike Hilton, yes. Like I'd happily add them to my defensive backfield.
Yeah, Amari Cooper, he's dealt with drops. He's getting a little bit older. But
kind of flamed out in Buffalo, I thought, too.
It didn't work out in Buffalo, but he was quite good, of course, with both the Cowboys. And then I thought he was productive with the Browns. Maybe didn't live up to their hopes, but it definitely had his moments. Keenan Allen's another guy. I'm not sure. Keenan Allen in 2025, I thought he looked old last year, and he's also very specific, his fit, right? Like he's a slot receiver, can't play anywhere else, and he could be the old Parcellsism kind of progress stopper, where, if you're playing 33-year-old Keenan Allen at a spot where you might have some fresh legs and a guy who could bring more to the game for you, he might be more name than game at this point.
Yeah, and it's also worth remembering that this is a financial business, and if these guys are on your roster as it crosses the threshold from preseason into regular season, that veteran minimum salary is guaranteed for the entire year, where if they're released and then re-signed after that mark, then you can play with the numbers a little bit and you don't have to pay as much. I don't think you're in as deep at that point. So I think that's always something to remember too with vets who are around at this point.
That threw me for a second. I thought he said after that mark, continue my comment. I thought, yep, I'm alert and I'm ready to respond.
I thought Mark was so hot for a point that kind of recognized the body language, and then Sessy was going to jump in with a haymaker. It's not too late. I mean, we've already now set the table.
I mean, I generally think that Conor was coming with a logical point, so for the sake of the show, I think we can move to the next topic.
All right. Well, let's do that. Let's hit the rest of the news around our league.
I think we've annoyed Justin, by the way. I can just see it on his
Justin,
face.
do you want to plug in? You want to plug back in? You can plug back in. Go ahead.
Yeah, it just feels so boring.
I know, it doesn't. Yeah, I know. There you go.
I need
hope
that
you learned
neon blue leaking through onto my face.
Here's the thing, Justin. Like, it's one thing to admonish the hosts of the show the way you did. But I thought it was more than that. I thought you were doing a little double thing where you were going to try to take us down a peg to lift yourself up. And I just thought that was untoward, quite frankly.
No, I wasn't trying to lift myself up or tear you guys down. I was trying to move the show back on track because I don't know what you guys were even talking about there.
Another logical point.
Let's do some news.
Louisville cornerback.
Dan and Mark are so toxic.
Cornerback available. Have you gotten a chance?
Go get him, Eric. I love all our corners, don't get me wrong, but go get him, Eric.
Have you gotten a chance to talk to Jaire about coming here?
Yeah, I hit him up, but you don't know. You never know with Jaire. That's my boy, man.
Yes, we did not mention Jaire Alexander in the discussion of available free agents because Jaire Alexander is now a member of the Baltimore Ravens. He's this former Green Bay Packer, joins the team on a deal, 1-year deal, worth a maximum of $6 million, includes $2 million in incentives, and yes, a very nice piece of the puzzle here. For the Ravens, and Lamar Jackson at Tuesday's minicamp practice, as you just heard, made a strong plea to Eric DeCosta, the GM, to go get Jaire. And sometimes when you're a franchise quarterback, Mr. Orr, you can move the needle.
Yeah, a franchise quarterback, a quarterback who is trying to get an extension on that, record-setting contract that he had just 2 years ago, I think it was. So, yeah, I think that's a nice move by the team. Nice little way to cozy in before some complicated negotiations because Lamar is self-represented, and sometimes that gets a little messy. I think we all remember how that went. Messy. But holy moly, look at the Ravens secondary right now, 2024 first-round pick Nate Higgins, 2022 first-round pick Kyle Hamilton, 2025 first-round pick Malachi Starks, Jaire Alexander, 2017 first-round pick Marlon Humphrey. You're like 20, and then like Chidobe Awuzie is like your sixth man in that secondary, and I mean he's a solid corner, has been. So I mean, my lord, talk about learning your lesson from last year and then punching the gas to try to get over the hump. This has been a great offseason.
Yeah, they struggled early against the pass. I think that defense in general came on down the stretch. But is this not the best defensive backfield in the AFC? Because I was looking at this lineup too. I'm like, if like Malachi Starks is what they think, like Nate Wiggins was, I thought, brilliant as a rookie. Kyle Hamilton is a special player, and then you've added Jaire Alexander. If he can stay healthy, it's like this is a stacked defensive secondary in the entire conference.
We're watching a video on social media of Jaxson celebrating with Alexander. They played together at Louisville from 2015 to 2017. And I guess 4 words, Baltimore Ravens. Like, I think we're going to do our team slogans later, if not now, comma, when?
Can I say one thing? So Lamar Jackson.
Well, let me just if not now, when? Baltimore Ravens. If not now, when? Yes, that's 4. Everything is laid out in front of you. Everything is there. You got to get over the hump this year. You could say that about the Bills, too, in the AFC, and you could pick another couple teams in the league. The Lions come to mind as well. But the Ravens especially. If not now, comma, when?
There's this Lamar Jackson headline out there that they're entering this season with vengeance on our mind. To your point, like it's like
didn't he say that last year?
Well, that's my thing. Like, if not now, when could have been the slogan last year and the year before and the year before. And so we sometimes it's not just a Ravens thing with me, but I kind of am out until I see it when it matters most. It's like it is a trope. I'm not buying vengeance on our mind. Like, you're gonna go win 12 games. Get it done when it matters most, because this story to me feels like a rerun that I've lost interest in.
Here's my thing though: go get Stephon Gilmore too. Like, don't stop. And this is what the Eagles do. This is what teams who are actually interested in winning championships do. Like, if you think you have enough, you don't. Just keep going, because soft tissue injuries occur at such an increased rate in the NFL. That's a tough division. You're going to be tackling a lot in the secondary. Keep going. Don't just stop at Jaire Alexander. We just saw who else is out there and available. Just keep going.
Because the key difference is, like, if it's Jaire Alexander who misses some games in the regular season, but then picks off Josh Allen on January 24th, like, this plan worked. Like, these things do matter. And, like, so the hope is that, like, I would actually like to see them go accomplish what they plan to for once, but I'm just tired of the messaging.
No, you don't.
Go do it.
No, you don't. Let's not be dishonest with the audience here.
You
do not want Marc Sessler, Cleveland Browns lover.
Let me explain why.
Does not want to see the Baltimore Ravens win the Super Bowl.
Here's what it is. It's more because our roles are to talk about this stuff all the time.
Right.
And you listed it. There are a couple teams that I'm starting to tire of. Like, we've got to get over the hump. It's
but your solution,
go get over the hump.
Marc Sessler's solution to remove this talking point from like our annual conversations about our league it's not a credible solution from Mark, or an honest one, to say that win the Super Bowl so we don't have to talk about this anymore.
All right. I'm not saying I that's not my core wish. But it's more just like, kill this narrative. Can we move forward and get some new teams and some new meat in here? It's the same 4 AFC teams.
Okay, here's
like
another one. Here's another slogan. Let me get the words. Okay, this one is 6 words. Okay? Shit or get off the pot. Baltimore Ravens.
That fits.
In other news. And I tend to get Ravens fans get up in my business whenever we have this kind of conversation on the show, and it's like, I'm not ripping you guys. I am very envious. What a beautifully run organization. I don't like how they got to Baltimore in the first place, Mark. Nobody does. But, like...
Well, half of them don't even know how they got there.
Right. What a wonderfully run operation the Baltimore Ravens are, in terms of... Now, we've taken them to task for certain things, how they handle, player behavior and the handing out of punishments and looking the other way. They're not perfect, but I mean, in just their ability to build a contender and sustain one, and even a move like this is exactly the stuff you want to see your team doing. Like, you're this close to getting over the hump, get over the hump. But there is, to Mark's point, a bit of a,
right.
All right, great job, Ravens. You're awesome again. Do something. 2 words. Do something. All right. The Chiefs, they have done something. The Chiefs have gone to the Super Bowl 3 consecutive years. They did not win last year. I think one of the reasons they did not win is their offense was not good enough. They were not able to keep up with the Philadelphia Eagles as that avalanche came down on them this past February. And not having Rashee Rice was a major, major issue for that team. He sustained a really bad luck knee injury where it was like a Patrick Mahomes interception, and then somehow Patrick Mahomes on the run back ended up falling. His helmet fell into Rashee Rice's knee and like blew it out. Just terrible. And Rice ended up with a bad injury. But he's expected to be full participant when training camp begins. They're playing it smart with him during the spring portion of minicamp, but he's expected to be a full participant, as is rookie offensive tackle Josh Simmons, coming back from a patellar tendon injury. So that's very good news for the Chiefs. Connor, at 2 areas of their team that really need those guys to be dudes.
Yeah, and this has been the long gamble, and we've sat here and we've banged our head against the table every trade deadline, every free agency, where it's like, why aren't they doing more? Why aren't they doing more? And weirdly, I agree with the approach, right? Sometimes your best wide receivers have to be homegrown. They have to be organic. That's true with a lot of players, especially if you're Patrick Mahomes and you're going to be commanding a large portion of your cap moving forward. A lot of this stuff has to be on your own and relationships that you facilitate, create. That's why I like what the Texans did this offseason, kind of investing in the future instead of, but these guys need to be available. They need to be healthy, and so I think that's the flip side to it.
And it's, it feels like a long time ago, but Rice as a rookie had 79 catches. He was a big part of that offense and a big reason they won the Super Bowl that year. So I think it's a huge ad for them. The offensive line was a problem for them all last year. They're shuffling players all over the place. And so they're also, it was good news to have Trey Smith, like he was at mandatory minicamp, and it sounds like there's arrow up on maybe getting a contract done. He's tagged right now, but you also traded away Joe Thuney, which I understand was a money move because, right, you've got these massive contracts on board, but Joe Thuney's absence is where they've got a big weak spot right now. So it's not, if we're going to talk about the Ravens adding people left and right, like Chiefs, you're right there too. Like, don't go into the season with any weakness that you can detect in the preseason.
And Rice did start the season beautifully for the Chiefs last year. He was on like 105 catch pace, and was absolutely a focus of their passing attack. So getting him back is going to be huge for Patrick Mahomes. We're not all buying into the narrative anymore that we hear every year, the trope alert that their offense is back, blah, blah, blah. But he will certainly help them. One other Chiefs note, that franchise tag right guard Trey Smith, he did attend mandatory minicamp during their contract talks. So that is good for them. All right, let's check in on the blotter. The Cleveland Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round of the NFL draft. The Cleveland Browns are hoping Shedeur Sanders becomes a steal in the 5th round. The Cleveland Browns don't want any negativity around Shedeur Sanders, who's a bit of a lightning rod. And yet here we are because the rookie quarterback was cited for driving 101 miles per hour in a 60-mile-per-hour zone. This occurred, last week, I think, or either this week or last
Tuesday.
Tuesday. With that said, I think the only thing that we can do here, and if you're watching on YouTube, is the body cam footage. I think the only thing to do here is do what we must, Connor, which is open up the line of communications with Marc Sessler, who is going to handle this for the Browns. Okay.
Good afternoon, and thank you for holding. I have Marc Sessler on the line from Quiet Storm Crisis Management. We're patching Mark through right now.
Hey, this is Marc Sessler from the Quiet Storm Crisis Management Center here inside the heart of the Cleveland Browns facility. Look, I think we got to be real about this. Youth is going to create narratives and things that maybe a more experienced 40-year-old like Joe Flacco wouldn't do. You're not going to catch Joe Flacco racing down the road at 100 miles an hour. I would say there's a couple ways to look at this. Were substances involved? No. That would have been a huge red flag to me. And we've talked to Shedeur, who has just been an incredible add-on on the roster throughout all of our offseason activities. He's done and said all the right things.
Unbelievable press conferences. Unbelievable press conferences.
He's not. I think you can see that this is someone who wants the best for his team and for the Cleveland Browns. This is something that happens in professional football and professional sports. You got to look at philosophically at all this. Like, I think this was going 40 miles too fast. We've all done it. Everyone's like, I had done it before, but I didn't get caught. Now, it's like we don't have a problem with Brad Pitt playing Cliff Booth speeding down the LA freeways at 135 miles an hour. It's cool when he does it. And Justin, like, it's cool when this other person does it. This didn't raise a storm right here.
What?
Oh, LeBron admits to driving 100 miles. Like, I don't remember in Cleveland. I don't remember the absolute public meltdown when LeBron
did you just pull an
Nice.
AP article from January of 2008 headlined "LeBron admits that driving 101 provides no guarantee it won't happen again"?
Hell
what a
yeah.
headline!
I'm just saying, like, this stuff happens all the time, and like, I for me, the difference line, like, if it's now me, like, if he were caught drunk driving or deeply under the influence or created an accident because of that, we're in a different world. Now, I will say one thing. If you're Shedeur Sanders, like, your best move is to stay out of the news the rest of the summer in any possible way. Like, just come back.
They're paying you to give him that advice? That's a good gig you have.
Stay out of the news. Stay out of the news. I'm not excusing the whole thing. I just think it's a little overblown. Because
Mr. Sessler, just one thing. You cited that nobody had a problem when Cliff Booth was driving 130 miles per hour, your words, in a Quentin Tarantino fictional film. That's not real?
Yeah, I'm just saying speeding's cool until it happens to someone that
were you saying
that
there might be, you were surprised there was not a public uproar about the speed of the fictional character in the movie that came out like 5 years ago?
I just think that in our culture, it is seen as kind of cool if you're the guy racing down the highway, devil may care, like, against the wind. But when it's Shedeur Sanders, who everyone's got a spotlight on, it's like, here we go, let's go to town on this guy. And it's like, I'm just saying, I think if nothing else happens this summer, if this is the worst thing that he does, like, off the field, I'm cool.
The goal of everyone driving in Ohio is to get the fuck out of Ohio. And Shedeur Sanders driving 101 miles an hour is something that I've certainly done in Ohio. I think I did it 2 years ago, leaving Ohio, because when you're in Ohio, the coolest thing to do is to not be in Ohio anymore. And so I am totally fine with him doing this. I know I have some LA friends on this show who just surf everywhere and ride the earth wherever they have to go. But here in the concrete jungle, baby, sometimes, like, whether you got to piss, you got to get out of Ohio, you got to get to Wawa. Like, this is shit that we got to do. And sometimes we're going to hit triple digits. That's all.
Yeah, this is going to work out great. This is right. Everything's right on schedule right now.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think this is, like, systemically, like, it points to the fact that this is some sort of huge personality problem? Like, I just do not.
No.
Did we really need body cam footage for this? Like,
no, it's fine. This is going to be fine, Mark. Mark, you know what? You're right. This is going to be fine.
Hold on.
I mean, I know he's heavily on your radar, and like
no.
this
is
like
going to
red
be
meat,
the Browns got this. They got this. This will definitely be the last time we talk about this guy being a knucklehead. The Browns got this. If there's one thing I know, the Cleveland Browns got this.
Quick show of hands, just to defend Shedeur here. Raise your hand if you've been pulled over going a hundo or above. Just me?
Yes. That's not a lot of people do that.
I've done it, but not been pulled over.
Not
for
a lot.
Shit.
I got pulled over once for going 62 in a 45, which is kind of bullshit, by the way. I didn't get a ticket.
God.
But that's the only time I've ever gotten pulled over for speeding.
Am I the only
One of the good
person
things.
Am I the only
I get
person that has to
nailed
get
for like
places?
illegal left turns into like a busy intersection. It's like, where did you learn how to drive, sir? Yeah.
One of the you mentioned L.A., Connor. One of the sneaky underrated aspects of L.A. It's pretty hard to get pulled over. Like you have to really, like where I grew up in New York in the suburbs. The cops there just live to pull you over. They're hiding out everywhere on the Palisades Parkway and the Garden State. And it's like my whole upbringing up through my mid-20s, I lived in constant fear. And I was always had side glances. If it wasn't worried about hitting a deer, it was worried about a statey. And then up on the Mass Pike too. Those guys, you get pulled over on the Mass Pike, one of those state troopers, and they say you have a New York driver's license. They're ready to put you in the damn electric chair out here in California. I mean, sometimes I won't see a cop for days. I know they're out here. We know they're out here.
That has been the biggest adjustment for Jessica and I moving back to Texas is that, in LA, you can drive as fast as the traffic in front of you lets you drive.
That's my point.
And it's
in
unsafe
Texas,
if you don't.
Like they have cops posted on the freeways all the way. We go out to the lake house for weekends here, and it's like we got to watch the speed, and we're not used to that. I've been pulled over in Texas.
Honey, it's
49.
time to head out to the lake house. Please keep your speed under control. These police officers, they're everywhere.
I've been pulled over doing 49 and a 40. They have speed
Of
traps
course,
here,
darling, of course.
where the speed
last
limit
thing
is
we
like
need is
70
a peace officer slowing
for
down our
30
trip to the
miles.
lake.
And then there's a
I
5-mile
love
stretch where
the
it
lake.
drops to 55.
Oh,
and
how
then
I love
it
to
goes
get
back
out on
to
the
70.
sea.
And you have to watch out because if you hit one of those speed traps and you're still going 70 in the 55, you get pulled over. That has also happened to me here in Texas.
Trust me, darling. There's one
All of
thing
that's
that I
happened in the
don't
last
want to
like 2
delay.
months.
No, this all happened when
We
I was
I
like
was going to
15.
say,
Get to
what
the
is
lake
going on
house.
over there?
Post
But I
haste.
remember. Jessica's never experienced it. The only place in America she's lived
I'm
is LA.
sorry,
where you can drive
officer.
as fast
Don't
as
you
want.
know where I'm trying to get right now? The lake house.
What is
Dan's
this?
just doing his own.
I demand
podcast
you
at
to
this point.
unhand me. Don't you know who I am? I am Party J's son. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Have a nice day.
My dad got pulled over doing 42 and a 40 once.
What?
Yeah.
I'd go to court on that one.
Probably with that vape in your mouth. I would have done the same thing.
I feel like I should button up something too that also I understand as a white male that me driving on the highway is a safer exercise in terms of law enforcement. I want to make that clear before that's another subreddit thread. I'm only speaking to my personal experiences, and I know it's not the same for everyone.
I think that was an important verbal nuance to throw in there based on, our society.
Area white guy claims there is no cops around.
Right. It's like, there are cops around. I can promise you that.
All right. Anyway, he's fine, Mark. I'm not. I mean, he's a kid. He made a mistake. Brown's got this. We're good.
I know you aren't being sincere. There isn't one like granule of sand of sincerity in what you're saying there, and I understand that. And so this is the kind of thing where the minute I saw this, I was like, oh,
well,
this is like handcrafted for like Dan to.
Don't worry though. Like I saw Johnny Manziel in the news saying, yeah, Brown's got this too. Shedeur, he'll be great. Oh, really? Johnny Manziel? Literally Johnny Manziel? Tell me more, John.
John.
All right, let's talk about a different rookie. Giants rookie quarterback Jaxson Dart. According to Brian Dable, he has, quote, fit right in with the New York Giants, and he's making a buddy. Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets is still over there now. And they watched the program Love Island together. Here, let's check this out.
Are you guys watching Love Island together?
We have. I can't say we do it every night, but from time to time when we get it off day, we watch it, we talk about it.
Wait, is this always how Tommy DeVito talked? He's like Vinny Barbarino. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Sometimes we watch the show over there. Sometimes
Wasn't that the whole shtick?
Hey, we watch it. We love the Love Island. Sometimes we sit over there and we watch it. Oh, I didn't realize he was so out of central casting.
I think he is. Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes I don't know.
You lean into it. I mean, God bless.
I think he is. I think he is.
Yeah, God bless this kid. He's never gonna have to work a day in his life after he dies. If he can do this for like 2 more seasons, that's it. You know?
Does that mean in like 30 years when we see Tommy DeVito, he'll be like, the wickedly talented, the one and the only Jaxson Dart? Is that coming? Is that the next part of this?
Please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
By the way, I saw Jaxson Dart. I saw Jaxson Dart in the booth at Yankee Stadium. Let's play a little clip from a recent Yankee game where Dart showed up.
In 2008, Jaxson Dart at Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, the one across the street. Now in 2025, he's sitting in the booth with us. The Giants' first-round draft pick, the quarterback that they're expecting such great things from. Jaxson, welcome to the booth. How you doing?
That picture's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here. Appreciate you guys for having me.
Now, born in Utah, you went to Ole Miss, but I'm told that you're a big Yankee fan. Your dog's name is Bronx. How did that happen?
Yeah, so my dad used to do some business out here. And, when he would come out, he loved to take me. He was kind of the OG Yankee fan in our family. So, kind of followed his way with that. And then, ever since then, I've fallen in love with the team, with the organization, and how to name my dog Bronx. So.
Now, David was joking with you about, could you play baseball? Were you baseball?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Could you have played in the big leagues if you pursued that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
With the way
I love him.
I love him too, but with the way the show is going today, I thought we might just sit there and watch another 3 innings of Yankees baseball. I mean, it's just we've completely.
I am sold.
Stop.
I'm sold on Jaxson Dart.
Yeah.
Stop.
My goodness.
Stop.
Why are you wearing a Yankees hat, by the way, today, Connor?
Okay. Well, I guess I should back up and explain that. I'm trying it on because the f***ing Orioles blew an 8-run lead yesterday, and I just want to see what it. My wife bought me this a couple years ago when we went to her company. Used to have seats, and so we would go a lot. And she bought me this. It's a really nice hat for when we would go to the games. But I guess I just wanted to feel what it was like to just enjoy a team with like generational players that was like invested in winning and didn't leave a bunch of people hanging out to dry to get slapped around by the Devil Rays. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's stupid.
It almost does speak a little bit to your cursed fandom that you're wearing a Yankee hat while, as we do this show, they're riding a 6-game losing streak and they've been shut out 3 times this week. So it's not great shakes over in the Bronx right now either for me and Jaxson and all the other Bombers fans.
But so you have Aaron Judge, right? And then and when Aaron Judge became to the point where you needed to pay Aaron Judge, you paid Aaron Judge. And what we do is we get these guys who are fun for like 3 years, and then it's like, oh, Manny Machado, like, here, son, look at this guy. Oh, never mind, he's on the fucking Padres. Or, we just keep doing this, and we're going to do it again in 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the trade deadline, whenever that is. And it's just it gets frustrating sometimes.
I feel for you, buddy.
Yeah.
They have no excuse either. They should be a spending franchise. And Angelos, who was a bum, finally sold the team, and apparently sold it to another guy who was a bum. So it's tough sitch.
This is like I wrote about this in terms of the NFL, but we've become so we fetishize teams being able to do Moneyball. Like that led us to applauding people for winning on a budget when, like, if you are a fucking person who can afford a Major League Baseball franchise, you should do the thing where you just buy all the good players and win every damn game instead of being like, well, yes, granularly here we saved 8 decimal points on the designated hitter and this makes us smart. Who gives a fucking shit? Like, we need closers, we need relievers, we need pitchers. Like, just do it,
I see the criticism on the subreddit about your foul language. It lasted all of 1 episode.
Sorry.
Should 1/3 of them not even own a team?
You know what it was too, and I'm taking up way too much space about this, so just cut this out. It's totally fine. But it was like we got off the beach yesterday, and it was a nice day, and you're just getting everybody to bed, and you have the game on in the background, and you look over and it's 8-0. You're like, okay, I don't even have to babysit this thing. We can go read Harry Potter, and we can, give everybody hugs and kisses goodnight. And then you come back out at 9:40 and it's 12-8. And I'm like, when did that happen?
I know, bud. I know, bud.
Shouldn't happen.
We're ostensibly rivals in the AL East, but I don't like when fan bases don't get treated the way they deserve to be treated. And Orioles fans, absolutely. It's been a tough 20 years.
Hence the hat.
I don't get one thing, not to belabor this, but like the You're in the same division as the Yankees, and you're wearing you're saying that I can't say I want the Ravens to get over the hump just to get them out of my way. But I'm not walking around in a Steelers hat because the Browns suck.
Yeah, let me handle this one, Mark. I think this is kind of an act of defiance.
I see that, but it's...
What is the last thing that an Orioles fan would ever do is slap on the old NY hat. So it's basically a double bird to the birds. Am I correct? Okay.
Yes.
At least there's another 161 games to iron out some of the problems you're dealing with.
Mark's old insult that there's too many baseball games.
No, it's just like...
Not typically a baby boomer takedown offered, but in this case, Mark does.
I'm not I think it's a fair, as our culture becomes more parceled out and there's many things
let's
to
align
watch.
ourselves with the modern speed of culture more. Let's do that. Let's knock it down to a 20-game season. That way, the 8-year-olds will be into it instead of watching YouTube.
I will say that the COVID season...
They get 2 innings.
The COVID season was
20
fantastic.
games a year. 1 strike and you're out. No base running.
I don't think you change anything, Dan, but I do think that you baseball faces some elements of distress from a programming angle to fans, younger fans, and
Here's
fans.
what I would say: everyone, leave us alone. Let the baseball lovers love baseball.
Yeah.
That's true, but that's sort of a little isolationist. There's something going on there that's a little.
You could say whatever you want. I don't mind being out of time with my favorite national pastime. That's just me. And maybe when I die, whoever the president is that was born in 2027 can totally radicalize the sport and make it more aligned so it could stay popular with whoever.
We've had this conversation 57 times, so it's not going to go anywhere different this time.
Can I just put a bow in the dart thing real quick?
Yes.
It's just a little dubious to me. So one of my colleagues, Robert Klemko, did a great project a couple years ago on the economics required to have your son become an NFL quarterback. My guess is that the darts probably do well for themselves. My guess is that there's probably pictures of Jaxson in authentic baseball jerseys in probably 26 of the 32 MLB stadiums.
Geez.
And so
his dog is named Bronx, Connor. Take it back.
Like if he was picked by the Bucks, it's just I grew up a Rays fan. I was big into Rocco
big
Baldelli.
Aubrey Huff guy.
Yeah.
That is conspiratorial.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
All right. Let's take a break. And when we get back, we'll do the rest of the news. All right, taking a quick break to remind you that if you love this show, if you love the Cess Dog as an example, a prominent example, there is more in the Heed the Call universe over at patreon.com/Heed the Call.
We've got a new episode of Rolling Thunder. Jason Zumwalt and I tackle a very deep topic, and I hope people will enjoy it. Dan, I know you've got a couple things coming up as well.
Oh, the return of the Throwback Podcast with Dan Hanzus and Bob Castrone, my bosom buddy, where we're going to take a look at the first ever TRL Total Request Live Top 10, and we enjoyed that. So we've been waiting a long time to bring back Throwback Pod, and it's in a new video format exclusively on Patreon. So check that out, along with the obviously weekly Friday fun show and all the other fun that you could find on the Patreon. Patreon.com/Heed the Call. Be a part of the revolution, hedonists. All right, we're back. Before we get into the news, I think we did hear from Quiet Storm Crisis Management. How much you get paid, by the way? You're on retainer there with the Browns. What is the rate? What do they got you at?
Well, I don't say that publicly, but
okay, smart.
It's comfortable.
Oh, very nice, very nice. I feel the need to hold a press conference because our previous episode, I did make a passing reference to the Cam Ward upcoming 6-part documentary and the landing spot in terms of a distributor being Tubi. And I was quite surprised the level of pushback the old Zuzzer received from Tubi fans across the world. And I just want to say I'm sorry. I believe it was a little bit of a lost in translation. I was more drawing the point that Cam Ward, who can't seem to find himself in the right lane in terms of how he's marketed and how he deserves to be marketed as a number one pick, that he wouldn't land with a major streamer, okay, for his exclusive documentary, diving in on his first year in pro football and the lead up to the draft. By the way, what's the title of that documentary, Justin?
Zero Star, the Cam Ward story.
Again, brilliant marketing, calling the documentary Zero Star.
But science fiction.
Not my point. My point being, I apologize because it kind of disappointed me, boys, from a more kind of granular aspect of our show, that the most conversation around our last episode was like Dan sucks because he doesn't understand Tubi. Like, there was nothing else any of us said in the last episode that became the driving dialogue behind the episode. What does that say about what else we said that episode? So to the people that use Tubi and find it to be a cost efficient as a fast channel mode of enjoying media content, I apologize. I understand. I don't know. Does that mean if you didn't have Tubi, would you be watching? Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I watched the Super Bowl on Tubi, so go f yourself. Okay. I apologize. I didn't even know that. That's great that you watched the Super Bowl on Tubi. And if you didn't watch it on Tubi, would you have been watching it on like a sidewalk, looking through an appliance store window, television there? This is much better as an alternative. So I want to say I apologize for being out of touch on Tubi's importance to culture, and it will never happen again.
I don't think you did a single thing wrong on this
Hell
front.
Yeah.
There are too many apps out there. I will say this: Tubi's revenue is $700 million. And it's in like 50 countries. So I think what you did was maybe twist the knife a little unintentionally on the overseas audience that has to find other ways to watch the Super Bowl in some cases.
Now, I got it on both sides of the Atlantic, it seemed, Mark. But that's, yeah.
But I don't think you need to, you don't need to course correct critique of Tubi when it's one of 500. I'm not trying to get their flack either. I'm not going to even look at it. But I mean, there's also.
I would stay away from this, Mark. There's a little bit of a hot potato. The Tubi conversation is a hot potato culturally, and if you come after Tubi, be ready for the Tubi army to come after you. And that's what I learned, and that's why I'm stepping away from the discourse.
That's smart. Connor.
We just defend all these things like they're meaningful to us in some way, shape, or form. Like, for example, the other day I tried to look up what was in my sparkling water. And so I was on Reddit looking up Pellegrino. And then there's a comment that's like, well...
Total lunatic, by the way.
That's a crazy person.
yeah. But then there's a comment that's like, I effing hate Pellegrino. Like, you should all drink Topo Chico. And I'm like...
Oh, I love Topo Chico.
What's going on in your life that you have hatred for a sparkling water? And similarly, what's going on in your life where you feel the need to defend a nebulous
nebulous
of some kind that has never hugged you or provided you with sustenance or brought you to the store to pick out a toy when you were sad? I don't know.
I think a big part of it is get on Dan.
Yeah, I was going to say not for nothing. Or, choosing this nameless fast channel over a human being, a father and a husband, and a man that's tried to give you entertainment for 14 years. But I was just thrown to the wolves.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I'm not angry about it. I understand I misstepped.
Well, we just had a news conference about it, but other than that.
All right, on to other news. Let's talk a little Jets. They sign Harrison Mevis. Anybody?
I love this guy.
And waive Anders Carlson. The Jets are going all in on a youth movement and special teams. What could go wrong? But last year was a kind of a nightmare with Thomas Morstead and Greg the Leg. Greg Zuerlein cost the Jets about 3 or 4 games last year, so they're starting over the position. Here's the thing you need to know about Harrison Mevis. He is straight out of the school of Randy Bullock, Big Bone Randy, as we used to call him. In fact, his nickname is Thicker Kicker. And that's cool with me because I celebrate body types of all kinds.
Yes, you do.
I've had body types of all kinds in my life. So if you're saying this is a thick boy, I rise up and I stand with the thick boys as one of them myself.
He is 5'11".
So am I.
In about 245 pounds.
He's got me there.
I think thicker is not like he just looks massive. Like when you're to look at a field goal kicker, it's like he does look massive. He played at Missouri. I kind of went and looked at a bunch of his stuff this morning. So I was like, who is this dude? Like, he is freaking clutch. He hit like a 61-yard field goal that broke the SEC record. He was like 41 for 41 on extra points and a great long-range kicker. So why not? I kind of dig it. And I think he could be one of the... I like the idea of a certain position being revolutionized by a human body that looks completely like you're not what you're expecting. So I'm all in.
Nice. Connor, the counterpoint.
Large people shouldn't. No, this is great. I mean, I guess if I had to say something, add any value to the conversation, it would be that I think that heavier kickers are valuable because they're probably a little bit more able to withstand a tackling situation. And so if you're down to like an 11th man scenario where you're the last person and backstopping a kick return, maybe you have a better chance of bringing someone down if you have a little bit of weight.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
I don't know how mobile he is, just to throw that in there. We don't know that.
Fair.
We just need him to be, the level of the athleticism I need is if the kick returner for the opposing team breaks through the first wall or whatever, I just need thicker kicker to do that move that a kicker does where he kind of meets him around midfield, and before he tips over, it causes the ball carrier to kind of have to pivot or shift, and then somebody tackles him from behind. That's that. I'm not looking for him to make, some type of head, what is it, head up, shoulder, some by the book tackle. You know what I mean? We don't need it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not looking, he doesn't need to, use the hit stick on somebody. So good luck to you, thicker kicker. I hope you make it with the Jets. Also, he will not be playing with CJ Mosley because the veteran linebacker announced his retirement from the NFL on his 33rd birthday. Mosley was a standout on the Ravens for several years, signed a big contract with the Jets, and then had an injury-plagued first season, and then sat out the COVID year, which as a Jet fan, it drove Jets fans nuts. It's like, you were supposed to be the anchor of our defense, and now you're not even going to play after you missed the first season. Then he eventually came back, and he was a good player. He started to show his age last year, dealt with some injuries, including a neck issue, and then Jamie and Sherwood developed for the team and made Mosley expendable. So happy trails to CJ Mosley. Had a very good career overall and got paid. Any thoughts on Mosley before we move on?
Wasn't it a bit of a thorn in the side of Jets fans when it
was
Mike...
whatever you're about to say is yes.
Well, but Mike McCagnon signed him to that 5-year, $85 million deal or something. Like, it was, they had to go get him, and they were amping up their defense. But I thought the contract alone was just massive.
No, what happened was it was a very healthy contract, but he was a stud and is exactly what they needed. And he was an absolute, and Jet fans will nod their head as they hear this, an absolute menace the first 3 or 4 weeks of his first season with the Jets. And was just an all-pro level stud. And then he hurt himself. I don't know what it was, a hamstring or a lower body injury that ended his season. And then you're going into 2020 and you're thinking, all right, we're going to get Mosley back. And then he is one of the guys that said, I'm not playing during this COVID year. And it just told his contract. And it just became 2 years later, Jets fans were like, wait, this guy was supposed to be our anchor, and I don't even remember what he looks like anymore. So it was but he was okay, though. He turned out to be a decent signing, maybe overpaid. But anyway, speaking of former Jets, Aaron Rodgers' family, his estranged family, I think they're still estranged.
They are.
Not sure. Connor, I think you should handle this one. Not sure, because you surprised me a little bit. You got on the old, hey, Tugboat, chill on Aaron Rodgers, his press conference. He might mean it this time over at Latrobe, or is that where Pittsburgh is? Their campus. Is it Latrobe, Pennsylvania? Is that?
I think that's where their training camp is.
Yeah. Anyway, you're like, Dan, hey, you cynical dick. He got married, and he said that he just wants to be. What was the Christian term, Mark, that you taught me?
Servant leader.
He wants to be a servant leader, and I tend to the ill, and I got married. Well, according to the Daily Mail, Aaron Rodgers' marriage mystery deepens as family questions if he really tied the knot with never seen life.
Exclusive, by the way, it says.
Wait, did Aaron Rodgers make up getting married, Connor? Connor, did he make up getting married? Did he make it up?
Okay, so here's my two thoughts on this.
Oh, please make it up. Please make it up.
The one is that it would be dicey for someone who has carved out a spot in Rodgers' corner if he ends up doing the immunized, vaccinated thing and then ends up doing a married, but he's actually just doing a commitment ceremony thing, because I think that's very kind of two birds that flock together.
Do you want to just so people know just more clearly, he said he got again during the COVID era of life. He said that he was vaccinated, that he had gotten one of the shots, and then it came out later that he had, I don't know.
Well, no, he was asked if he got the vaccine, and he said, "I'm immunized," at the press conference. And everyone took that to believe that, yes, he had been vaccinated, but he had done his own version of whatever that was, an immunization process that didn't count by NFL standards.
Was that kind of ground zero of people turning on Rodgers?
Yes.
Like in the public discourse?
No question.
Because that was like everyone line up and be a good little boy, and like he was vocally doing things askance of that.
Right. My other thing though is this. At this point, I don't know. Here's the thing. Like, I think if you're trying to revive a relationship with a son, and if things are estranged, like, are you going to talk to the Daily Mail or the New York Post? And that part of it seems complicated to me at best. And if this guy is happy with this person and doesn't want her to be out there, I respect that. I know it's difficult to pull off in society today, but if you want to kind of get married in a way where it doesn't have to be public record, if you want this woman to be outside of the spotlight, I do think that's a noble
But don't say you got
wish.
married. Don't say you got married.
Fair.
Say I'm in a relationship and I'm really happy. Why invite these things? You know, that's what surprises me. And I'm just the question I guess I have, Mark, is like, is this a Manti Te'o girlfriend situation? Does this person even exist?
So this Daily Mail article, and these are, I check out this this site a couple of times because these articles go on for like 4.5 years. But the girl's name apparently is Brittany. But I think it's a red flag when your family has no concept of her, probably has not seen a picture of her. Like, it sounds like the family didn't speak to the Daily Mail, by the way, it was sources. But like, he has a string of pretty bad relationships because if you dig into it, he dated actress Shailene Woodley, and asked about what was going on there, she simply used the words "not right," and she allowed her empathy for someone else, Aaron Rodgers, to keep her in a toxic situation. Danica Patrick said that her relationship with Rodgers was emotionally abusive, and he wore her down to nothing. So I don't know who Brittany is or what's going on, but there is a pattern here of like these sort of shady, half-baked, I always felt like created by agent relationships to create a certain image, but that the actual relationships have been very damaging. So I don't know what to do with this other than the fact that when your family is saying that we don't think you're actually married or even know who this is, that feels a little flaky to me. Like whether or not you're
I don't know
estranged.
when's the last time Aaron Rodgers spoke with his family. But
that's been going on for
digging too much in his personal life, you know. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you know who'd be perfect for a guy like Aaron Rodgers? Just like an AI type. Like, remember Her? Great movie. Johansson, Phoenix. If he had like a sentient AI type bot, maybe that's ultimately where he should end up and land.
Well, that's very possible to achieve.
Yeah. All right. Anything else in the news? Justin, my computer froze, so I can't see the rundown any longer.
We had one more item on the news section of the rundown, yeah.
Oh, is it about the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you try to keep this out of the show, but I insisted
I did.
that it was in the show. And I guess I'll pause now for the latest edition of Feminist Weekly. Hang on. Okay, I paused. Thank you. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, according to a source, have gotten a 400% raise. And I am very happy to hear that because, as I understand it, cheerleaders in professional football are not well compensated in relation to the amount of work they do, the talent it takes to get in the position of being an NFL cheerleader. And now that the Cowboys, the premier franchise in the league in terms of spotlight, at least, I mean, once the Cowboys have now relented and properly compensated these women and men, now that will start a domino effect, and we will have in one small corner of society equality and justice. So thank you very much. I have no other things to say on this topic.
I just have a logistical question here. In 2019, the Cowboys settled a lawsuit with a cheerleader that led to the squad doubling their per game pay from $200 a game to $400 a game.
What?
Wait,
what's
400?
What's a 400%? Now, granted, I'm math is not my strong suit. What's a 400% pay increase over?
They're making
$400 a game. Are they making?
They're making $160,000.
400 times four.
Nice.
400 times 400. Is that the move here or no?
No, 400 times 4.
Oh, okay. So they're making $1,600 a game. No.
Yeah, 400% would be 4 times.
Oh, all right.
No.
Because at first
good old mathematical Mark stepped in and I did 400 times 400.
Are they making $160,000 a game? That's fucking awesome.
Oh, not a game. I thought that was like an annual, because I would imagine being the cheerleader, the season doesn't end January 3rd or whatever. I feel like they have a lot of
events
and
my
emotional
understanding
type things, and
is that a lot of that stuff is very piecemealed together. Like it's like a per appearance rate kind of thing. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. After the season.
All right. Well, Justin, if you want to provide a counterpoint on this, this is the stage for you.
According to 4-year veteran Megan McAlhenney on the Netflix series America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, quote, our efforts were heard and they wanted to give us a raise, and we ended up getting a 400% increase, which is like life-changing. All I was saying is this is the only source we have on this, and does
you're trying to muzzle the story. You were trying to kill the story.
Care
Do you not find her
the episode?
She's right in the lion's den there in the middle of all this fight for equality. You don't find her credible?
I don't find her non-credible. I just
What if it was a him? Would it be credible then? Justin?
No, I don't. Don't we double source?
How about the irony?
Ceci,
how about the irony of the way this started the episode when Justin flew us under that Mack truck?
Yeah, I
and
feel
now
it is...
here we are. Funny how these things tend to iron themselves out.
Dude, I think it's good that we're getting close to a little bit of a summer break where we can kind of refocus on what it is we choose to be on this show, Justin. And the rest of us.
Okay.
It's only these poor girls only get paid $33,000 a season, if you counted the 3 preseason games.
With the 400% raise?
Yeah, because it'd be $1,600 a week times 18, but then I did times 21 because just generously if they were to give them that rate for the preseason games.
Well, they've all notoriously been treated terribly from a pay angle.
Let's keep working on it.
Yeah.
The journey for equality marches on.
The Cowboys had that massive scandal with their cheerleaders a few years ago that led to a major settlement. And now they're
just give him 400% and tell him to shut it and dance. All right, Jerry, we're going to keep you out of this one.
100%. Who comes up with that number?
There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes.
All right, that's it for another week of Heed the Call. Don't forget some good stuff, some great stuff out there. We have the Friday Fun Show coming up on Patreon. Also, there's a new Rolling Thunder that tackles faith. Is it the Theology Podcast with Jason Zumwalt?
No, because that would be done differently and would certainly include you guys. This was a little bit more of just like a personal journey type
spirituality,
story.
personal journey. Wow, sounds like a heavy one.
But
and
Jason
one
really brought
to check out.
Ton of bricks to it. Like, I thought he did a nice job.
Very good. Very good. So check that out, and we'll be back next week. Coming up, and very excited to announce this. I was on the Bill Barnwell show, Bill over at ESPN, his podcast, and we talked about the teams that we thought were the furthest away from a Super Bowl dream. Old Home and Home, Monday show. We got a show going up Monday next week. It is our annual, the return of the Dalton scale, as we try to find the prime meridian of pro football's passers, and really looking forward to that conversation, and we hope you enjoy it, because it's something we didn't get to do last year, and now it's back, and can't wait for you guys to enjoy that one. So everybody have a great weekend, and until next time, do what you must. Heed the call. Go O's!